Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Sorry I am late. But I'm not late to this party because it was my own fault. I'm late to this party because my work. So, wait a couple minutes. People start coming in. Thank you for giving me some of your time, your attention. And if you could, anybody out there, please say hello in chat. And hit that subscribe button and hit the bell. That way next time I do a live, you will know I am here. And then I will know you are there. So, yes, I know I'm getting corny. It's okay. I'm an 80s baby, raised in the 90s. I can be corny. It's allowed. My generation is the one that comes up with all the cool dad jokes and nobody can think about. Everybody thinks that they hate them until they hear the good ones, and they're like, well, shit, I kind of like that. So, I knew it. I told you guys. I expected it Saturday, but I knew there was a chance they could do it Sunday while everybody's at church. And what happened? They did it Sunday while everybody was at church. It started, they announced Biden stepped down. As of the start of my pastor's sermon Sunday morning and on second service, so those that were on first service that went out for an early brunch or early lunch, for brunch or an early lunch, whatever, either one works. Those people, they found out probably after they got home from their Sunday morning dinner, Sunday morning brunch or whatever. And for those that were at second service, they found out as soon as they left their chair or their pew or the building that they were in to go to services in. This, everybody, this is insane. This political round has been the most insane I have ever seen. Are you gonna go on there, dude? Oh, people, fuck it. I hate people that can't drive, people. That's all I'm going to say. I do not like people that cannot drive. You're driving a pickup truck, you have no one turning in front of you, and it takes you a minute to cross 2 lanes. You have a problem. You need to learn how to drive. Now, going back to the whole point of the video, Kamala is, according to the endorsements, she is in, but don't count on it. Here's why I say that. Everybody is counting on it to be an open primary. If it's an open primary, Kamala will not be the candidate for president. She will not have a vice president. She will not be on the ticket, period, end of story. The DNC in Michigan is not going to work out in her favor, period. She's not going to get it. Now, who could get the nomination in an open convention with delegates and superdelegates? Hey, hello. Hey, Anna. I don't hate Trump, Anna. I'm actually a huge Trump fan. Why do you suspect I hate Trump? I'm just curious. So it's not going to be Kamala. They're going to go to an open convention. Kamala is going to be voted out by the superdelegates. And that will be the end of that. Now, hey, Anna, before you make assumptions, you should probably ask questions other than why do you hate somebody? Because that's a question a lefty would possess. That style of question is the type of question that a lefty would propose. What we need to make sure that we do as the Republican Party and people that love Trump and people that support Trump, we need to change the way we put our language so people know not only who we stand for, but the fact that we stand for truth. And we stand for the American dream. And we stand for this country and the security of this country. That's what we need to do. We need to make sure our language shows that. Now, saying, "Why do you hate Trump?" That's accusatory language. You don't need to. You don't need to have that type of language. I think it's not good to have. It puts you in a bad light, and it makes people not want to conversate with you instantly because you say accusatory words. Now, going back to what I was saying, with an open convention, let's go back to 2020 for a minute. I need to shave my beard. No, I like my beard. I'm going to trim around it so just my goatee's showing, but other than that, yeah. What? I can grow chin hair. This is all on my chin. Anyway, if we go back to 2020, when it came to the Democratic National Convention, Biden did not get the initial vote. Okay? Biden was not the initial candidate. It was, who was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. But when the super delegates came out, they're like, yeah, no, we want Biden. Even though Biden didn't have enough votes, he didn't have enough delegates, the super delegates put their votes behind him, and that pushed Biden over the line. Now, that being said, I feel the same thing is going to happen, but it's going to fracture this Democrat Party so bad, we're not going to have to worry about them for at least 4 years, if not 8. So, the Democrat Party, their situation is not beneficial to them. I love it for us. As the Republican Party, the chaos going on in the Democratic Party is awesome. Now, I do not wish bad things on Biden. I do not pray that he dies. I hope to God that Kamala does not become president before Trump wins the election, because that would just be super bad. But there are a lot of people pushing for him to step down as president due to him saying he's not well enough to run a campaign. How the hell is he well enough to run the country? That being said, that's where we're at. Now, I feel that it's going to be Newsom and either Buttigieg or Newsom and Clinton. I feel it's going to be a lot of different candidates, but none of them have a chance against Trump. Cheers for Germany. Could you explain to me what the voting system in the U.S.? Okay. So for those of you that are watching from overseas, we are considered what is called a representative republic. It's not a majority vote. Each state, based upon their population, gets a certain amount of delegates, and they get a certain amount of representatives in the House and the Senate. That's where the representative republic comes from. Now, each state, based on their Congress representatives and their senators, that's how many delegate votes each state has. Like Nebraska only has, if I remember correctly, Nebraska only has 2 because they're so low pop. It's crazy. Places like Texas have 25 or 30. I don't even remember the certain numbers. But okay, Jeff Holland, whatever you say. And what happens is each state has to have a vote by district. Then each district's delegate votes are counted up for that district, and those all apply to a total, and the winner of the majority of delegate votes gets the state's delegate votes and wins the state. Basically, winner take all. No, direct democracy is not better. If we had a direct democracy, just to explain direct democracy in a good example, a direct democracy is like 2 wolves and a sheep voting what's for dinner. Think about that. And also, if you have a direct democracy, small states like Nebraska, and Maine and Delaware and those smaller states of the Union, of the United States, they wouldn't have as much say as the high population centers like California, Texas, Florida, Washington, Seattle, Washington, all those huge, and I'm talking huge city centers that have millions of people living there. Because they have the more citizens, they would then have more leeway in the vote. By having delegates and by having the Electoral College, they only have a certain amount of pull, not a lot of pull. And that makes it more equal across the board. And to the guy in Germany, you have to get a minimum of 270 delegates to win the presidency. Now, I'm sorry, electoral votes, not delegates, my bad. And those electoral votes are based upon the delegates in each state, so on and so forth. Now, there is certain scenarios depending upon which state goes for and it goes against, and there's one state that's currently, I believe, still currently split, but I could be wrong. The video I watched could have been before they joined the two votes, but Nebraska had a split electoral college. They could have 1 point go to one side, 1 point go to the other, and that potentially could cause a 269 tie across the board, which would then leave it up to the House and Senate, and then depending upon who runs the House and Senate, that's where it is more equal or representative of a direct democracy, because you have currently more Republicans in the House as opposed to Democrats, and there's more Democrats in the Senate as opposed to the House. But the House vote is the one that matters, and the House vote would give it to Trump if it came down to the House and Senate as it stands right now. But if it's done by Electoral College, there's a good chance they've used the separate state thing against people more than help them. I'm not trying to understand what you mean by your question. I don't feel it hurts them more. I feel that it gives a greater glimpse of majority of what the nation wants. Sorry, pardon me. I'm drinking water real quick. I'll explain that. So, for example, if you go back and you look at all of the different counties that voted red in the 2020 election, Trump should have won the 2020 election. It's certain city centers that have more pull than other areas that would give them that pull to get a greater vote. One second, chat. No, every state does not get an equal vote. Every state's vote is based upon its population and how many senators and how many senators and representatives it has in the House, due to how many counties there are and how many people they have per county, so on and so forth. I don't have the time nor the tools or the specifics to give you guys a thorough breakdown, but there are tons of YouTube videos out there on it. And I would recommend watching some of those about how our voting system works. There's quite a few, and they're really good. PragerU has a really good one. So if you look up PragerU on YouTube, you'll find a really good video of how the voting system works. And I think it would explain it better than I can. Now, going back to Kamala and the Democrats, the super delegates, which pushed Biden over the line for the nomination 2020, I almost guarantee they're going to push Kamala out. That way, the Democrat Party doesn't get viewed for it. It's just the superdelegates. Move, you stupid semi. Oh my goodness. If anybody out there works for Estes Trucking, you have drivers in your company that are jackoffs. I'm just gonna put it out there. I hate truck drivers like this. They get next to another truck driver and they just sit there. But whatever. Back to my video. So the Democrats are gonna take their time and they're gonna pick a candidate they feel can win. But I can honestly tell you there's no candidate that the Democrats have that is going to win. I think right now they're just trying to play the what game, what do we do with our candidates so we can move forward, and who can we set up for the next round of presidential elections to make sure that they get it. And they're also trying to reduce the amount of damage they suffer from whoever the top of the ticket is, because with Kamala being the top of the ticket, I think they're going to suffer more when it comes to votes than they would have had Biden stayed top of the ticket, because Biden had some loyalty. Kamala has absolutely none. But we'll see what plays out. I can tell you right now, you're not going to see a President Kamala this time or ever. I did hear some people talking that she may step down on her own. No, I would disagree with you there, Yule. I'm a Republican year-round, 24/7. Actually, I call myself more of a conservative, which the Republican Party aligns with my values more than the Democrat Party does. And I'm going to tell you right now, I defend my position, I defend how I vote, and I defend my way of life every single day, not just when it's voting time. I criticize things I think are wrong, I applaud things I think are right, and when votes come up, I make sure that I'm there to vote. I've even interviewed, if you look back on my videos I've posted, I've interviewed political candidates. I've got a couple more interviews lined up. I'm waiting to hear back from the candidates to see when the official interview date's going to be. But I have interviewed candidates, and I'm going to interview more. Now, I will tell you, I think it does get more polarized, but I don't think people are only Democrat or Republican when it comes to election time. I would say they fall along the lines of conservative, moderate, and liberal, as opposed to Democrat and Republican. Democrat and Republican is just parties that you vote for when it comes to voting time. Moderate, conservative, or liberal are your way of life. Now, I want to get to this next point before I get home, which I'm about 10 minutes from there, so I want to hit this point. If you guys saw the former Frito security guard, and yes, I mean the head of the Secret Service, before she was the head of the Secret Service, she was the head of security for PepsiCo International, also known as Pepsi and Frito-Lay, the chip company and the soda company. A company I've worked for in the past, and that's fine. I think when it comes to guarding chips and soda and keeping the employees safe, she did a great job. As the head of the Secret Service, she needs to resign. And she was interviewed by Congress today, and man, did they grill her like a piece of salmon on a gas grill, man. They turned up the heat, and if I remember correctly, almost every single every single person that interviewed her from the oversight committee told her they want her resignation on the table that day. So yeah, she's getting her bums chewed, fried, and they're telling her, we want you gone. Quit now. Turn in your resignation. So you'll let me see. No, I wouldn't say they're all just corporate employees. You have a bunch of different people. There are, so for example, let me break this down a little bit, and then I'll go back into the head of the Secret Service, Cheadle, which I think her name is explicitly funny, that Cheadle used to guard Cheetos. But anyway, let me get to what you're saying, y'all. I have known, being woke in this country, some people started to think it was a good thing because there's a company out there that gives you a DEI score, and if you don't have a certain DEI score, I guess you get blackballed by BlackRock and other corporations. But there are people in this country that will fight for their rights and live their life the way they want to live it. Me, I'm one of those. I'm going to say what I want to say. If I have to say it respectfully and tactfully because I'm in a professional work environment, that's fine. I can do that. Can I have a conversation without dropping an F-bomb or an S-bomb or telling someone to go F off? Yeah, I can do that. Is it hard, depending upon my level of frustration? Yeah. But I can do it. And I'm okay with it. I really am. Everybody is not just a corporate drone. Everyone is a free thinker. In the U.S., not everybody agrees on everything. You will never find somebody that agrees with somebody else on everything. Whether it's hot button issues like abortion and the homelessness and drug addiction, you're never going to find people that have the same resolution, that have the same feelings, that hell, even agree with a minute factor. Now, there are certain times you can break it down to a simplistic amount and you can agree with someone on the base premise. Like, should we have a secure border? Yes. That is there's a good chance you're going to find someone that can agree with that point. No, actually, they don't, Yos. I completely disagree. The Democrats may want that because they want to call conservatives and Republicans evil and racist and everything else. But I want you to go look. There's a few videos out there. There was this black guy, and I'm saying this because this is how it's portrayed in the video. And I want you guys to go find this video and watch it. There was this black guy and there's this white female interviewer. And she starts talking to him about, hey, what do you think about Trump? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I've heard he's this. I've heard he's that. And he's like, well, would you be willing to perform an experiment with me? And he's like, what's the experiment? She goes, how about I take you over there to the Republican rally with Donald Trump and we see how people treat you. And then we will come back over here to the side that you currently identify with and see how they treat me. When they took this very fit, young black man over to the Republican side for people waiting in line to get into this Trump rally, no, I'll tell you, there are a bunch of whack jobs on both sides. I will agree with you there. But the majority is not always represented fairly. And I can tell you right now that there's a good majority that does not care what you're voting or how you're voting. We're going to stick to our guns and we're going to think that something should go a certain way because that's how we believe and that's how we live our lives. But going back to what I was saying, this black gentleman goes over to the Republican the line of people identifying themselves as Republican and conservatives and Trump fans to go into this rally. And as he's standing there with them, people are coming up to him, hey, you're more than welcome to come in. If you're worried about your safety, you could stick with our family. We will make sure that no one F's with you. We want you to see the awesome side of what Trump has to offer for this country and how positive his image is and how positive his vision is. And this dude's just like awestruck. His chin is dragging on the sidewalk as he walks with these people. And then they were over there for at least a good hour and a half, according to what I've heard on the video. Then they go over to the side that's protesting the Trump rally. They called her racist, a bitch, every name you can think of. And he's just looking at these people like, I don't agree with these people. This is not how I live my life. This is not what I agree with. This is not how you should treat another human being when they've done nothing wrong to you. And I feel I align myself kind of the same way. You can live your life. I don't care if you're gay, bi, trans, a furry, whatever other things there are out there. The only one I have an issue with is a map. Minorly attracted person. That's a pedophile. No way. Stay away from me. Stay away from my kids. Stay away from my family. If that's how you identify as a minorly attracted person, stay away from me and my family. Other than that, anybody else in the LGBTQ community, live your life. I don't care. Now, I, as a human, have the right to voice my opinion. Now, if someone voices their opinion and wants to be hateful, that's wrong. Christ even talks about not hating people. Love people. And that's one of my biggest issues is people need to love each other and come from a point of love and understanding. But there are a lot of Democrats that don't want to do that. They want to, well, you're white, so that means you're wrong, and you're a racist, and you're a homophobe, and you're this, and you're that, and you're this, and you're that, and it's wrong. My viewpoint is, you live your life any way you want to. Whatever you identify as, your pronouns, that's fine. But when you expect your way of life to dictate how I live mine, that's where you're going to hear me voice my opinion more than any other time. You have a right to live your life the way you want. I have a right to live my life the way I want and have my beliefs, just like you can have your beliefs. If you can't agree with that premise of freedom, go to another country. Because that is what our country is based upon. Let me see what you said here. That's what I mean. Years of people, streets, but I remember to a military because they got people hyped. Same help, got neighbor first leave, better for little ones. I'm sorry, the way you're phrasing it, I'm not sure I completely understand, so I don't want to respond to it because I don't want to respond wrong. RDG2, sorry I didn't talk about your comment earlier. I wanted to finish with my tangent that I was on. I am a dispatcher and I sub every once in a while as a delivery driver. As you can tell by my arm, all the red marks on it from delivering windows today. But I'm usually a dispatcher, but today I was out in a truck delivering in a 26-foot box truck, delivering windows and sliding glass doors. But that's what I do for a job right now. That's my one job. My second job, I am actually a counter guy at AutoZone, and I have to be there at 5 my time, so I've got an hour and 20 minutes before I have to be to work. So I want to try and nail this video down, but I always want to give you guys at least 30 minutes. Traffic was light today, so I made it home super early. No one has a right to inflict their way of life on somebody else. That goes against our freedoms. It goes against what this country is based upon. And if you give a certain group special rights, then you don't have equal rights. When it comes to equal rights, the best thing I've ever seen is a video of this lady getting on a bus and how all these women are saying, well, we're equal now and we want equal rights. Okay, well, if you want equal rights, then you don't want chivalry. Guys, back in the 80s, 70s, and even the 90s, I was raised to be chivalrous. Open the doors for women. Pull out their chair when they sit down. Now, would I ever order for a woman when it comes to a restaurant? No. I don't know what she wants to eat unless she's my wife, and then, sometimes chivalry gets a little lax. But, the video that I'm talking about, it's this lady. Not just two jobs. I also have a side gig where I work for an app called Driver with a Y, DRYVER.com. It's a personal driving service. You go to people's homes, pick them up in their vehicles, drive them around in their vehicles, and then drop them off at their homes or their hotel rooms in their vehicles. And then you hop in your car and go home. So that is, that's my part-time job. I actually currently have a gig this Saturday lined up, 5-hour drive for a customer, and good guy. I've driven for this guy. I think we're almost to double digits, and he's a good guy. I really enjoy his company and his female friend's company, and he's a really good dude. But in the video, this woman's on this train or a bus, I can't tell which one, and she's looking around, and there's all these guys sitting in the seats, and all the seats are full, and she goes, look at all these men. What happened to chivalry? And she goes up to this one guy, and she's like, aren't you going to get up? And he goes, what? And she goes, aren't you going to get up? And he goes, well, you believe in equal rights, right? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, well, there you go. Fuck off. He said he wasn't moving. And I completely agree with it. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much. My youngest daughter is sitting here tapping on the window and hoping that I will take and get out of the car so she can give me her hug and kiss that I always get when I get home. And I told her to wait, and she's being super impatient, but patient enough for me, for an 11-year-old anyway. So thank you guys for giving me some of your time. The one commodity you can never earn more of, or trade for, or gain back, or ask for a refund on. The fact that you spent it with me means a lot. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. Don't forget to check out all the Trump rallies they got coming up with beefed up security. And God bless this country. God bless soon to be 47th President of the United States, President Trump. And God bless all of you. Have a great night.